The opportunity to advocate for faculty rights, for our profession, for our institutions, the system of public higher education in Minnesota, all of which I don't believe there's a better advocate or an avenue for that advocacy than the IFO. At the local level, at the system level, and within our legislature and at the governor's office. That work has been very rewarding, very meaningful. And I always felt it gave me a voice at the table. It allowed me to bring Southwest concerns and issues to the system level and to the state level. And it's been an invaluable asset for all of those constituencies, including the better good of what public higher education offers.
When I started going to or attending the Downstate Disability Advocacy Committee, it opened my eyes to the workings of the IFO, working with IFO staff, and getting a better sense for what the union had to offer. That role, that opportunity to bring in marginalized faculty to the workings of the organization has, clearly, as I sit here as the FA president for Bemidji State, it provided me an opportunity to enter in through an advocacy role that I care a lot about and learn through that experience.
The IFO has made the academic ground to be kind of level for all faculties, and so let's take the pay, for instance, and I heard Chancellor Olson talk about 50 years ago when female faculty were paid a little less and things like that. When I hear that and the transition, next year we're going to be celebrating our 50th anniversary, I think that groundwork for equity is really gaining ground, and I think that is the most impactful thing that IFO has done.
Equity 2030, I think, is something that the IFO helped drive, and I don't know if the MinnState system would have ended up there without the IFO.
The security and inclusion of the union is important in the development of careers across the board.
One of the things I do is talk to faculty potential faculty when they're interviewing for a job. And it's interesting because not everybody is from a union background. And some of them, I think, associate union with like Jimmy Hoffa. So I really like explaining, because I can give them a lot of examples, how the union has helped both individual faculty and faculty members on the whole.
So the number of things that we demand with the administration, whether in terms of protecting faculty rights or increasing or making improvements on our benefits, and also most importantly how we deal with legislators to fund higher education. All those things are indications of how our union advocates and supports and fights for faculty rights and benefits, and I think this is very crucial if we are thinking about retaining or attracting faculty to our state.
I would go to my early experiences working within the disability caucuses. This was something that was only started or was emerging as I started at Bemidji State. It was something that as a faculty member with a disability, with a physical disability, this was an opportunity for me to advocate, which is something that I had been doing for quite some time, to advocate for my colleagues with disabilities, and to organize around the different issues, the unique issues that affect faculty with disabilities.
Ability to get to know folks across the state and to know that we're all facing very similar issues, and that the union is there to make things better for us, to address those issues.
So I think it is essential that we look both at what we've done well, and we've done a lot of things well. And again, I'm pointing to the caucuses is what I think is one of the most impactful things to happen during my 27 years here.
I think the most fulfilling role has been working with LGBTQ faculty across the MinnState system to make sure that we can protect each other, but also to imagine what it means to be faculty that want to affirm and support LGBTQ faculty, students, and staff. And I don't think that that ever comes from corporate academia. I don't think it comes from administration, and it really comes from the organic practices of laborers who want to make sure that there are safer rights on our campus, and that you know, queer affirmative spaces belong in academia and in our union.
I'll admit, when I first joined IFO, it was something that I did to be on committees because that would look good for my tenure application. What I found was so much more. The IFO really has been a family for me. It has been a support system. It has been a chance to amplify my voice, and now in my role as a more senior faculty, to amplify the voice of others.
I think the IFO has done a lot of things, but I think that it has advocated for you know, a lot of employee rights. I think actually the one thing it does is it really does a lot to advocate for employee rights everywhere from you know, the you know, labor rights to pay to you know, benefits, etc.
There have been several chancellors, or potential chancellors, in which the IFO played a critical role in making sure that the system didn't go in a corporate direction.
The Board of Trustees had a list of finalists, all of whom did not believe in a university. They believed in community colleges. And they didn't think that having a grounding in a general education was that important. That we really should be career-oriented in everything we do.
The IFO has given faculty an opportunity to stand up for themselves, to act in a way that's not led by fear or confusion. And so what we know, and I'm a psychologist, is when people have a sense of self-efficacy and control over their situation, they're far more likely to be creative, to persist, and to move in wonderful directions in their career.
We're a union of committed educators, so I think that every day we attempt to transform policy through education, and I think that is a great benefit to Minnesota.
It not only gives voice to faculty of color, LGBT, women, and people with disabilities. It not only gives voice, but it gives solidarity and support.
One of those was the Chancellor's Initiative around Equity 2030. And I had an opportunity to be one of the leading voices for the faculty on trying to close the equity gaps within our system by first admitting that they were there, that we bared some responsibility for those equity gaps, and then of course making a commitment to the solutions to close those equity gaps. And I thought it was important to work with that Chancellor's Initiative. That was not a time to be confrontational, because we were talking about the success of our students that oftentimes have been underrepresented and left behind.